If you're ever unsure what to do in between one race and another, I got you covered today. But first, I need some caffeine. Much better. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, my name is Case. If you are new here, I am a 356 marathoner, and in my next marathon, I am running Indianapolis 2026. My goal for this year is to see how much time I can knock off between now and then. So since I have 11 months to go, what am I doing? Today, I'm walking you through what I do in 2-week increments up until I have another training block to do, which isn't for another month. I have adjusted this plan slightly as I do a little bit more than 50 miles a week, but just as a benchmark for you guys, I made it 50 just so that you can adjust based off what your needs are without having to do too much math. Stick around to the end because I am going to provide a 30-mile a week training plan, because who wants to do the math if they don't have to? So without further ado, let's go Monday through Sunday. So as you can see, my Monday run is the same every single week. I run my long runs on a Sunday, so my Mondays, I like to keep them as routine as possible. And as you can see, here is 6 miles to start off the brand new week, all in recovery mode so that I can give my legs a chance to rest up while also putting some miles on after usually a harder session on Sunday. I use the Karvonen method to figure out what my zones are. If you're unsure what that is, there will be a link in the description down below where I explain that. If you are a Garmin user, go to your heart rate settings and you switch it to the percentage HRR. And if you're a Coros user, you just go into your heart rate settings and it's under heart rate reserved. These are both the same. Tuesday is what I call my zone 2 day. It is my easy mileage day where I can go a little bit quicker than recovery, but really allow myself to build my mileage without putting too much stress on my body. During week 1, where it's 50 miles, I do 6 miles on this day. And week 2, where I'm aiming for 52 to 55 miles a week, I'll aim for about 8 miles. What I've seen that works the best is I keep track of my heart rate throughout the run, and I try not to spike out of that zone, even if that means that my average heart rate is going to be lower. I've found when I do that, I feel a lot more refreshed the next day, and I'm not beating up my body as much. Wednesday. Sometimes it alternates with Thursday, depending on how I'm feeling and how much that Sunday run really took out of me. But generally, what I'll do is Wednesdays each week, that is my rest day for the week, and I schedule around that. Before we get into Thursday, I gotta get my run in, so I'll see you in a minute. Just letting you know that this is what it should sound like, guys, when you're in zone 2. It should sound like a normal conversation that you're having. No pressure. You're able to get your words out, able to really communicate and be heard without gasping for air. All right, now that I have eaten, we're on to my favorite day of the week, Thursday. It's interval day, and that means threshold work. Yes. It's time to go fast. Hey, Rick and Bobby, I want to go fast. So I can make a separate video for the different types of intervals, but week 1 and week 2 are similar but different. In both weeks, I like to do a total of 12 miles to try and keep it consistent. On week 1, I'll do quarter-mile repeats, a little bit faster than 5K pace, added in with a quarter-mile light jog or walking, and a fartlek style where I continuously keep moving. The most important thing is trying to stay in the right heart rate zone and the right effort level. So for whatever reason, I can't hit my 5K pace, I will dial that back and give myself a max effort I'm going to push for. During week 2, my ideal goal is I like to be a little bit quicker or right at 10K pace for half-mile repeats. And for this, I do 10 of those, and then I alternate with a quarter mile at a light jog. If you need to, you can certainly do a walk to get you back down to zone 2 effort so that you're ready to go again. So now we're on to Friday, which is alternating. It can be a recovery day depending on how Thursday went with the intervals, or it can be a zone 2 day if you are feeling fresh. And so for week 1, when we're aiming for 50 miles a week, I will do roughly about 7 miles here in zone 2, as long as my legs are feeling it. If not, sometimes I will alternate with my miles on Saturday, depending on how I'm coming off those intervals, how I'm feeling, if I have any niggles, or if I'm good to go. In week 2, I'm aiming for 6 or 8 miles in zone 2. The difference here is whether I'm going for 52 miles a week or 55. I like to do a little bit more here even than I do in my other week, and sometimes a little bit less. I set myself up to have the best long run possible. And with doing harder interval sessions in the longer ones, sometimes I need to taper that back, even though I'm doing more miles, because my legs just need a little bit more to recover. Because doing double-digit half-mile repeats, especially at an intensity that's close to what you're doing the quarter-mile repeats on, is going to tax your legs a lot more. So even though you're doing more miles, you don't necessarily always want to be stepping up from the last week. So sometimes you are going to need to dial it back a little bit to make sure that you're not overcooking your legs. I like to throw in a cold or an ice bath of some sort to try and help those muscles recover so that I can prepare myself to make sure that my legs are good to go on Sunday. Sometimes all that this is just filling up the tub with tap cold water, and usually that is cold enough if you sit in it for 5 to 10 minutes, but please make sure to do your research before you do any type of cold bath to make sure that you're going to be okay and you're doing the right time frame for yourself. On to Saturday. So Saturday, week 1, like I was just talking about, I will do 3 miles of zone 2 work. And I will also throw in that second to the third mile as I'm finishing up, I will do some strides to open my legs up a little bit and get some VO2 max work in. And those strides will look like 4 times 25 seconds at 1 mile race pace. Roughly, I just do those at 6-minute mile. It's not an all-out effort. It's enough where I feel controlled, but also I feel like I'm pushing myself. For week 2, I will have either 4 or 5 miles. And like week 1, I will do some zone 2 work here and do some strides 4 by 25 seconds. Now, we are on to Sunday, the long run day, my favorite day of the week. I love long runs. There's just something so spiritual about a long run, I guess is probably the best way to put it. So I usually do on week 1 and week 2, I will do 16 miles each. I don't go any less than that, not unless I have to, like if I have a niggle or something like that. But I like that as a nice base layer so that I'm gaining enough fitness, but I'm also not pushing the envelope too much that it's affecting my next week. So these kind of runs can look very different and also very similar. So things that you can mix in here are progression runs. What I would do is I start off in zone 1, or I start off at like say 12-minute mile pacing, and then I will work all the way up to, by the end of it, I want to be at marathon pace. Sometimes I will do easy zone 2 work, and I will do that for 13 miles, and then the last 3 miles I will do marathon effort or a little bit faster than, so that I can start to work in that pace on tired legs. Another one that's my favorite that I just picked up recently is a couple mile warm up, and then do 6 times 1 mile on and 1 mile off, meaning 12 total miles, 1 at say marathon race pace, and then 1 at zone 2, or 1 at a little bit faster than marathon race pace or marathon race pace, and then 1 at maybe a minute or so slower. So doing a bunch of different variations can really make a very effective way to work not only on your base fitness, but also working on that other engine that's going to really propel you during the marathon. So when I do 6 by 1 on and off, I will stick to just tempo work for that mile on, regardless of what pace that's going to look like. So I will set a limit for where I want my heart rate to be, and then I will run whatever pace it does that gets me in that zone, because for all I know, there could be a lot of other factors going on that day. And if I try and run a certain pace, I could really be taxing my legs, and it affect weeks if I pull up an injury, or if I'm just so exhausted that I have to take another day off that I'm not planning for. That could look like excessive heat. It could be freezing outside. There could be a lot of stress in your life. Make sure to pay attention to those effort levels, because staying consistent is what's going to keep you moving week in week and being able to progress. And one thing I would like to throw in as a bonus for those of you that have stuck around, make sure that you're doing only one thing at a time. Meaning, if you're upping your mileage significantly, make sure you're not also upping the intensity. So one thing that I will do on, say, my rest weeks, where I may do 50 miles and it may not look like a rest week, but every single run will be all easier recovery pace, so that my legs are given a chance to actually recover, and I can still kind of keep some fitness going without taking it down too much. But that's just something that I do. And for those of you that are looking for a shorter plan and don't want to do the math, here's a bonus plan that I'm going to throw in. You're going to see it right here on the screen. I'm going to leave it up for a little bit so that you guys can screenshot it if you'd like. And this is directly for those of you that don't want to do some math right now, and maybe you're running 30 miles a week and so you want a plan that looks like this, this might be a better fit for you. Hopefully this helps. Drop a comment below if you want to see different types of interval sessions that I've done, the ones that I like, the ones that I don't like, the ones that I find most beneficial, and the ones that I probably won't be doing again. See you in the next one.